Good morning. It is cold in Missouri. That is absolutely true, Pigtail. Cold in Missouri, but not as cold as it is in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and all that crap up there. So, good morning. I was sitting there. The wife asked me if I was going to go live. I'm like, well, it's Tuesday. I normally don't, but then I realized I have not done any low board stuff the last couple of lives. So I figured, you know what? Let's instead of telling you, deal with this, deal with that. Let's look what the rates are actually doing and seeing what we're looking. So we'll point in different directions of the country with the 123 low board, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what we can get. Thanks to the weather, dispatch is going to be kind of light this week, predominantly because no one knows how to drive on I-80, and it's a very brutal condition. So, but I'll touch base with a couple of drivers today, and then talk to a potential client, and then we'll see what the day brings. So, if you missed it last night, DIY Semi or DIY Semi, however you say that, he did a live with yours truly, and we talked about the book Fahrenheit 451. So, if you don't mind, go check that out, give it a thumbs up, and tell Adam how awesome it is to have me on his channel, because I'm sure he would really love to hear that. I'm just kidding. Nah, go ahead, tell him. Go ahead, tell him. It's okay. And it was fun. We the only rule when we do those book review things is that there's no trucking talk allowed. So, which is cool because you still get some people in there and they're interested in what we have to say versus, just trucking information. So, anyways, sometimes we just need to get away from that. Sometimes you just need to put on an audiobook and just stop listening to the YouTube drama and stop listening to the news and just put on some music or an audiobook and just kind of get focused, refocused, right? I think we have a tendency to lose our focus. And Gary Bates showed up for a minute and had not read the book. So, I'm hoping that he's listening or reading to it very soon. And if and the next book is The Hacking of the American Mind by Dr. Robert Lustig. I highly recommend that book. It will change your viewpoints of what's actually happening to you, your mind, and your body as you trudge along this wonderful, wonderful world. Anyways, let's do some shout outs, comment reading, and then we will get to the low board stuff. How's that? So, what am I doing here? Oh, comments. All right. Old school, new school. You made it. You are a member as well. So thank you for your membership. I know it was gifted to you. Hopefully you see some value in it. I should be doing some members only videos soon. So stay tuned for that. A lot of times if I do a live feed on the other channel, I will make it private and then I will put it on this channel as a members only deal. So LVC, what's up? Southbound Pachyderm, sup? LBC loves. You like that guitar tone? Is that too heavy for you? I know you like some cool stuff, but I don't know. That might be too much. It's tuned to low B, open chords. It is cold in good old Mo. It's worse in Arkansas though, man. Arkansas is seeing some ice. Now I just took the trash out because that's what men do, and it was slickery on our driveway. It looks like the main artery just on the other side of the house is there. It looks like it's doing okay, but man, getting off our street will be a challenge since we live on a dead end street. I don't think I have anywhere to go today though, so that's good. Dennis, what's up? Good morning. And schools were closed again, so that usually says something. Sterling, you are late, but it's okay. It's okay. Just forgive yourself for being late. You'll be all right. Mike, oh, and by the way, check out Sterling's latest video. If you need help, seek it. So he had a good message there. Mike Nine Toes, what's up? Nothing Witty says morning book report last night was fun. It was. Is the sky falling yet? Nope. Look, the sky is going to do the sky, right? The sky, that sounded bad. The sky is going to be what it is, right? And I am not Chicken Little. Are there some harsh realities going on in our society today? Absolutely. But you know what? It's how you react to them that presents your progression. So, my name is Nobody, and that's good morning. And back to this comment, that one guy. Let's not dwell on that. Let's not dwell on we're just going to check out the rates. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, this is horrible," because another man's junk is another man's treasure. So one man's junk is another man's treasure. That also does not sound good. CB, good morning from Utah. Oh, dang, boss. Thought for sure there wasn't going to be one today. You know how to bring out the happiness. Let's go. Well, I appreciate that positive comment there. CDN, good morning, Steve. You're treating us to a bonus show this morning. Nice. Yeah, we got one truck to book. We're trying to book ahead now, and hopefully the ice won't affect them. And then the others are still stuck out there out west. So we have to deal with that later. Desert Okie Pam, good morning. Alfalfa, good morning. Good morning from Siberia, Nevada. Good morning to you, sir. On my way to Memphis, Tennessee. Ooh, David, are you coming up from the north or from the south? If you're coming from the north, man, you got some treacherous driving to do today. So just be careful. Mr. Charles, good morning. Urban Network Trucking Podcast. Note to self: Dallas people can't drive in ice. Bring Florida sunshine with me. Yes, I was watching the Weather Nation, and they had some scenes from the ice rink that they call Dallas. And Dallas is like Dallas, Waco area, that whole, I mean, the land of overpasses, man. That's a I've been there. I've done that with the ice storms, and that's no fun. So um hello from the Arctic Circle of Wisconsin. Yes, hot seat. I was talking to Adam yesterday, and he was definitely, yeah, it's so cold the dog doesn't even want to go out. That's when you know it's cold. Rates seem to be not horrible today, from what I can tell. Still glad I booked early. By the way, what temp do you use? Do you all use NHL? Oh man, you just opened a can of worms with that there, not. So, here's how I'm going to answer that question. If you run the South, I use more anti-gel because their fuel is not treated at all or treated as well as, say, fuel up in Illinois. There are different levels of anti-gel that you put in. Now, if your truck's always running, you don't really need it. But if your truck's going to sit for a little bit, it's possible you might need it. But so what I do is number one, I don't use House. The company I was with, they gave us a case of House, they put it in our side boxes, and they said, okay, this is what you use. And I've had I've gelled up twice with that stuff. And if you look on the back of any bottle of anti-gel, it will tell you the temperature rating of which it's good for. Some are only good to 0, some are good for below 0. So also depends on where you're running. Now, if you're up in the Tundra North, try to put some number 1 in there. That will help. But I usually don't worry about it till it gets about 15, 20 degrees. And it's only because my truck sits a lot. Even when I am running, I do a lot of short haul, so I'm at the dock a lot, and I try to use the APU. I don't idle a whole lot, if at all. Now, if it's 15 degrees or lower overnight, I will idle the truck. Or if it's a situation where I know my brakes will freeze, I will idle the truck, because Um, it seems like if I park for overnight and I don't set my trailer brakes, it sets it for me. So I have not been able to ever find that where that air is coming out. So you don't want to set your trailer brakes when you've been trudging through ice and snow. So but that's a different topic. Now, when it comes to anti-gel, you're going to have a lot of people that say I've never used it, and you have people that say I use it religiously, and then you have people that say somewhere in between. I'm somewhere in between. And the stuff that I use, I use Power Source, since that's the most easily available. But the other one that I do like is Lucas. It's a true moisture disbursement, water disbursement anti-gel, and that seems to be the best stuff. I do keep a bottle of white Power Source, and I do keep a bottle of the 911 stuff, and I've had to use them both. So it just depends on your truck, depends on how much you're running, depends on what kind of fuel you've put in. And I've had new trucks and older trucks gel, so it just depends. I've also done the baby diaper around the fuel filter. I've done that trick when sitting for a long time. And so that there's 100 things that you can do. And so you just have to kind of feel it out. But look on the back of the bottle. The bottles will tell you what the ratings are. I believe House is the worst one, in my opinion. Because I had 2 fuel filters gel with that stuff. I've never had an issue with Power Source, and I definitely have never had an issue with the Lucas. So, and then some people don't use it at all. In fact, some companies will not let you put it in the truck because it could void a warranty. So, Dallas rates sucked yesterday morning. They were worse last week. So, that Ninja, Gary's getting fuel. Universal posted a Florida load for 1,800. I got a load for 2,700. Big effing difference. And we'll get into that. I'm reading Hacking of the American Mind currently. Good deal. You can participate in the discussion when we have it. Whoever gives them membership, thanks. That was DIY that did that. Steve, I have confirmed lack of experience and knowledge is number one issue with brokers. You awesome carriers are stuck with dealing with rookies. And then you put up a link. So we'll have to check that out. Good morning, everyone, from the border of Mexico. Hopefully you're all south of that stuff. When we talk rates, it all comes back to perspective. I've been off and on the spot market since 2015. I've seen lower lows in my short period of time, and people survived. That is true. That link I posted is video proof. I got active in the chat of this live feed. Every question in that live feed proves too many entering brokering without sufficient training. Newbies need mentors. Isn't that the case of everything in life? It's all what we make it, right? And I'm going to get into that when we go into the rates. Oops, I've been putting it in anytime it gets below 20. Place I get fuel doesn't treat it. I use Fuel Ox Freeze Guard based off of DIY Semi's advice. I've been using Power Service, and having good luck. Good deal. The sky will never fall. It rotates around a majestic infinitum until the sun is done scorching the other side of the earth and comes back to us. Sterling has such an elegant way of putting it. Cool trucking. Good morning. I remember when I was very young, my dad starting a small fire under his fuel tank to stop it from gelling. How easy we have it today. I was not meaning to open a can of worms. No, that's fine, Don. I just don't want to replace filters in the cold. My thought process was I'd rather waste $16 on anti-gel versus potentially gelling up. Mine says lowers pour point by 45 degrees. So, anyways, look, if you're in negative temperatures, I use a full bottle in each side. If I'm in temperatures like what we're dealing with in Missouri today, it's about a half a bottle on each side. Just depends. And and it also depends on the fuel you have, if there's a lot of water in it, if there's a lot of moisture in your tanks and all that. So the other day when I dealt with my trailer, I actually topped off my tanks, so that way there'd be less chance for moisture. And look, running your tanks really low, there's more chance of gelling because there's less to deal with. There's more air around it. So I tend to keep my tanks full. In the wintertime, I never get below half a tank, because you never know when you get up to a station and it doesn't have fuel. You don't want to run yourself out of fuel. So never get that low. DIY says it's negative 13 degrees this morning. That is a bummer. I agree with you 100%. And Stuart wants you to keep it. And $24 for 64-ounce big cabin. Go to Menards, same bottle, $11. Yes, if you can find it. The dealerships and the hardware stores and the automotive stores like O'Reilly's, I think they'll usually have it cheaper. I think some get overtreated. I got a couple of bad tankfuls in Salt Lake City. My bunk heater wouldn't run on it, and the last one was so bad my truck regen 3 times on the same tank. Yes, you can overdo it. And look, if you've ever seen them treat the fuel at like a pilot or whatever, all they're doing is their workers pour bottles of it into the big tank. It's all they do. And so you're at the mercy of their judgment, of their recipe. So it's just, in winter blend is harder on everything anyways. So that's a bad thing about this diesel, this biodiesel. Especially, that's the other thing too, is if you're in Texas and you're running a lot of biodiesel, that has a tendency to gel up more than good old fashioned diesel fuel up in Iowa. So just trucking his back, driving Uber. I don't blame him. Lance DIY is a good video on anti-gel. There you go. You can overtreat fuel. I just learned something. Yes. Starts messing with things. Pam, the Sapp Brothers is bad about that in Salt Lake City. Yes, I avoid. A friend of mine told me this, and it was confirmed by several other people. I avoid the winter blend at Sapp Brothers there in Harrisonville. Beautiful truck stop. I love it. I highly endorse it, but usually I'm going to Love's for the fuel if I'm up in that area. Diesel number 1 is also known as winter diesel because it performs better than number 2 in cold temperatures. It has a lower viscosity and is not prone to gel in freezing temperatures. The worst one was from Sapp Brothers. First tank was from TA. Yep. So let's go with the low board stuff because I know that's highly anticipated. You know what? Let's take a look. I've got a search right out of Arlington, Texas right now. Going anywhere. This is for van. Let's do for today and tomorrow. Today is the last day of January. So January 31st. All right, so let's not forget to not add the load board stuff. The screen. I went 10 minutes last time talking about all load board stuff, and you guys couldn't see what the hell I was talking about. Low board, how about for hot shot? Marty, you just want to see all the weird, bizarre stuff, don't you? Shannon, good morning. Well, okay, well, let's do that here. So load availability, density map, trailer type. It really isn't a low or a hot shot option. You know why? Because there's no money in it. There's the straight box truck, which you've seen that. It's just red. Right? Well, it's not too bad. Oh, let me let me rant a minute. I called on a load yesterday, and at the very last minute before he was going to send me the Raycon, it magically turned into a box truck load. I'm like, okay. That was annoying. So let's do fine loads. All right. Let's search out of Arlington today, 150-mile radius. There's quite a few loads. Let's do it with the highest rate at the very top. So the highest paying load is $3,041, posted rate $2.11 a mile, which isn't bad for the Dallas area for van. 20,000 pounds, so it's going to be light. I bet you it's a multiple stop. Appliances, drop trailer up to 72 hours. And you need $250K in cargo insurance. Now, if you live in Reading, PA, this might be a good deal if you're going home, but if not, then this drop trailer is not a good deal. So that's why it pays so much more than what the average is. So anytime you see a lot of money on something, it's either multiple stop, drop trailer, or it's just going to suck. So they've got two of these. They've got it posted many times. Here's Temple, Texas to Danville, PA. Receives first come, first serve, Monday through Friday only. So picks up in Temple, goes to Danville, Pennsylvania. They're at 29. Need to talk them up a little bit. The average is $3,059. 28 hours, 43,000 pounds. So you're going to go through a lot of tolls on that one. Oh, maybe not. You're going up. Well, no, you avoid some tolls, I guess. Google will tell you if there's tolls, but it won't tell you how much they are. So, for a truck. Connecticut's a new game now because, now you got to pay for every mile you drive in it. They, because it's not bad enough that you deal with other stuff. So your profit margin on this is going to be a lot lower. Bethany, Connecticut, looks pretty close to the city there, New York City. I'm gonna. You guys have to notice something here, okay? Here's one going to Florida, Coppell, Texas to Wauchula, Florida. 2,600. They're above the average. 45,000 pounds, 48 foot. It's lumber. Now, doing lumber in a van can be kind of tricky because the way it's loaded. Every time, my experience is a full 45,000 pound load. It's usually over on an axle somewhere. So I tend to avoid those. You can go out to California for $1.65 a mile. I don't recommend doing that unless your business can handle that. And it's drinks. Must have signed POD, must be notified 20 minutes before entering detention for it to get approved. Delivery instructions must have signed POD. Okay, so a lot of rules. Now that it's drinks, you have to figure out what kind of drinks, and then you have to worry about freeze protect, especially going across here. Because as we know, this is a pretty treacherous drive at this point. So I would probably not bid on that load either. Plus, California's the new Florida. You have Waxahachie, sorry, Pale Rider. Texas going to Englewood, Colorado, 2,100. They're right at the average, 5,000 pounds, full pay in 3 to 5 days. So let's take a look at this broker here. They are pre-approved and they are a TIA member, so that's good. They got a 98 score, trans credit, got an A with underfunding, so that's good. I would be inclined to look at this one. Tyler, Texas to Wilmington, North Carolina. Picks up at noon today, or no, noon tomorrow. Goes to Myrtle Beach. It's got 2 stops, so that's a low rate for 2 stops. and then what are you going to come out of there? Now, I've picked up the AC units here before, and nice light loads. So there's that for it, but then the two different stops, you have to be careful, and you're probably going to construction sites, so there's that aspect to deal with as well. Look at the market around Wilmington. So let's take a look at that. Go down here. You can see Wilmington to anywhere is 43 loads, and you can kind of see what the averages are. Let's do the highest rate. $1.85, 207, 1,700 to go to New Hampshire. 1650 to go to Massachusetts. You go to Marcy, New York, out of Asheboro for $1.94 a mile. Kind of low coming out of North Carolina. So let's pick another spot in the country. New search. It does any. All right. So how is freight out of Miles City, Montana? Power only. Well, I think I know the answer to that one, but we'll try it. Miles City, Montana. Let's see. Let's look at power only. Take out van. Apply. No loads available. So if that's a real situation, you're screwed. A deadhead to Salt Lake on that probably. So let's do that. Let's change this radius to 500-mile radius search. Quite a few pop up. So you're looking at Minnesota, Clearfield, Utah. So you're at a 500-mile radius, 479. So a lot of stuff coming out of Clearfield, Wayne, Nebraska. So Clearfield, Utah seems to be the spot that you want. And there's two brokers that got that, One Way Trailers and Freight Tech Management. So let's click on one of these. Pearl City, Illinois. Let's say you want to get that truck back to close to you. 1050 for 80 cents a mile. It's a 53 reefer. Load out, so you can load it. So you get $1,050 plus whatever you can load it with. So I don't know if I would trust it depends on the reefer unit, but I don't know if I trust it. So I'd just do a van load in it if you could. So it looks like Clearfield, Utah is your closest spot that you're going to find something out of there. Salt Lake as well, as Sterling mentioned, and Wayne, Nebraska. So it seems like there's one in Sioux City, but that's 540 miles, and that's going to Phoenix. So you can easily add too much of a high-quality diesel fuel additive. Overdosing can lead to a whole new list of fuel and engine issues, from clogged filters to overall decreased engine performance and efficiency. Toll Guru is a good app. That's good to know. I've never used an app for the tolls because I don't generally avoid the tolls. Oklahoma's the only toll road that I really, and some of the ones in Texas and Kansas, and they're not bad, and I know the prices because they're set. Bethany is not far off. I-84 would not be bad. On van lumber loads, I will not pick up unless they have a free scale on site. That's a good rule. T-Bone, what's up? Good morning. How many of these loads are still available when you call on them? That is it depends, right? So there are times, depends on the market, depends on what's going on, depends on the time of day. There's so many factors with that. So sometimes I'll have 5 loads in a row that I tried to call or email that I get no response or it's gone. And like CDN said, there's a lot of unprofessional brokers out there, and a lot of them are not good at responding to you. A lot of them are, hell, they're not even good negotiators. They're just, It's crazy. And that's probably one of the more frustrating things about what I do is dealing with unprofessionals, just like it probably is for a broker and dealing with unprofessional carriers. But yeah, that it was a problem the other day. It definitely was a problem on Friday that loads were just disappearing. I call it flying off the shelf. And so yesterday when I was in negotiation with the load, he's like, "Oh, I got to check with the customer rep after we negotiated a price." And oh, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. I said, "Look, we either got to cut this loose or figure this out," because he didn't know when the delivery date was. And it was a 1-day transit, but they wanted 2-day transit time on it. But that's not how it was posted. So I was like, "Look, man, I'm just going to cut my losses here." Meanwhile, DAT tells me it was booked. So, there's a lot of shenanigans going on. And yes, there are lot of loads, especially look, DAT is the standard. Okay. 123 low board is not quite as popular, obviously. And so a lot of loads that linger on the 123 low board, sometimes the brokers aren't good about taking them off, but the DAT has that as well. All low boards do. And it gets kind of frustrating. And so what I do is I make it a habit of, hey, I'm interested in your load, doing this to this, is this still available? Oh no, we booked that. We booked that. I'm like, okay, well, it's still posted on the 123 low board. So that's why I called. Thank you very much. It's a nice way of telling them get your shit off the low board. So, pardon my French. Um, it is frustrating. So it's hard to be nice sometimes. you know. Big Mac, Aurora, Colorado, dry van. Let's do that. Take out power only. Do dry van. Search. With the 150 miles, there's quite a few. Let's take a look at your highest rate here. Oh wait, I had it on highest rate. 3,600 to go from Colorado to Washington. 271 a mile. So let's take a look at that one. That's pretty high even for going to the Northwest. I bet you it's multi-stop. No food and beverage products. So I would not put that on a van on this. I mean, this is the inexperience here. If these are beverages, you do not want to put this on a van going up to Washington from Colorado. It was like negative 20 wind chills up there. So it's insane. People don't do their homework. You can go to New Jersey. Here's one that says VM. So that means they want a team. 41,000 pounds. They're at 28. The average is 33. So this is a load that was either fallen off of, or it's high security, or they waited to the last minute. It says High Standard Freight Incorporated. Don't let the name fool you. They're at a 90 credit score, 30 days to pay on trans credit. They do not have anything with underfunding at this time. And then you're dealing with Jersey, so I don't know about that one. Cheyenne to Brazelton. Cheyenne's only 95 miles away. Van or reefer, but 44,800. There's not a whole lot of reefers that can pull past 43.5. Consumer goods. So, what would frustrate me is I would call on this and say, hey, I'm interested in your load coming out of Cheyenne going to Georgia. And they'd be like, yeah, it's beer. And you're like, yeah, you should have said that on the thing. You wasted my time and, wasted your own time. So a lot of stuff going to California, a lot. Golden, Colorado, that's going to be beer. Maybe. Yep, plate trailer. Oh no, this is going to be empty cans. Yep, empty cans. Great thing about those is they're light, and hope that you don't hit some wind going out to Cali there. But those empty can loads, they usually are not too bad on the price. Here we go. Englewood to Lebanon, Tennessee, $1.28 a mile. It is Colorado. Van air ride, reefer air ride, telecom equipment. So wouldn't be a bad one if you can get that rate up there. It needs to be about 25, I would think. Get close to it. So there's quite a few options there, and then of course you got a lot of going to Idaho. Here's one going to Springfield, Missouri. You can come visit me, Mac. 34,000 pounds, not bad. Email only. They're only $800, but you know what? Get them up to 1,000, and you're in a better market, theoretically. So, and it's lighter. It's 35 is perfect, right? It's light enough that you're not, full max, but then it's heavy enough that you're not too worried about wind. So, Clearfield, maybe new utility trailer. I imagine that's probably what it is. Russell, what's up? There are good brokers, but their freight is not on load boards. Ain't that the truth? Brokers can go out of business just as quick as carrier. The cream is always going to rise to the top, no matter what side of the coin you are on. That's a good saying. Cool trucking. How about Boise, Idaho reefer? Seemed like I had that before. Oh, well, we'll throw it in there. Boise, Idaho. Boise. For reefer. Apply. 48065 for if you want to try this low board for free for 30 days. All right. Search. We got quite a bit. Here's your load. Cool trucking. Here it is. Go to Brooklyn. Go to Brooklyn, New York. 43,000 pounds. 43.5. Go to Brooklyn for $231 a mile. See that you've got some negotiating level with that one though. Like who wants to go to Brooklyn, right? So let's say that I wanted to actually do this load. I'm going to call the broker and say, okay, here's the deal. I want to know the address of this customer. I want to know where it's going. I want to know the details. Can I spend the night there? Is there overnight parking? I want to do my research. Now, if I don't know the Brooklyn area very well, I'd be less apt to do it. But if I do know the area and you have all these details, now you've got some leverage. And you sit there and say, you know what? Not a whole lot of people want to go to Brooklyn, especially out of Idaho. So, we need to be at X amount. Now, there have been times when I've negotiated $1,000 over the average posted rate simply because of the location it was going to. So you got to know your market. You got to know your things. Now, does that happen all the time? I wish. But it is possible, especially when the market's doing pretty good. If you have a choice from all these different great things, ain't nobody choosing this Brooklyn load. So if you're willing to put up with that, let's say you live up in the Northeast. Let's say you grew up in New York City. You probably know this area like the back of your hand. You're going to make more money because you're willing to do stuff like that, and that's important. That's some leverage. Whatever you can do for leverage, and how many people? I mean, hell, companies advertise, no forced dispatch. I mean, they won't force you to go into New York City. But I do know that some of the places that you deliver reefer, I imagine this might be Hunts Point. Especially coming out of Idaho. So I imagine that's what that is. My dad used to go there all the time. That was his MO. I've been in the truck in Hunts Point. Granted, it was in the 80s, but I'm pretty sure it's probably different now. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. All right, so Jessup, Maryland, Philly, Kentucky, Wisconsin. Here's the one I would do. Jerome to Plymouth, Wisconsin, because I know some great freight comes out of there. Although Sonar was showing a little bit of a drop in Wisconsin. So you got to be careful. Historically, Wisconsin's usually pretty good. Just depends on who you know. Here's the load going to Washington, paying $361 a mile, $1,800 for 499 miles, 500 miles. But then what are you going to get out of Washington? So it's with SRAM Logistics. Washington out of anywhere. Let's look at the rates. Oh, here's $240 a mile to go to Harrisburg. You can probably get them up to $260, $270 a mile. And we're not worried about freeze protect because it is a reefer. $6,400 going to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. They're above the average. So, if you're in the long distance, that might be a good one for you. So, speaking of Washington, let's take a look at this here. See if anybody else has any other city requests. SST, good morning. The delay of loads not being removed can be broker laziness, but also due to TMS integration in time and sync to remove. I've had issues I removed in my TMS, but showed on load boards for 2 more days. That would get annoying. Just Nashville area, either van or reefer. Just wonder what you find attractive for a load. Okay, we'll do that. I can pull 45,000 with half tanks. Yeah, but then you're at half tank, so you're constantly getting fuel. So 43.5 is what I max out on a reefer when I'm booking them. And then you have the axle issue as well. So if you're buying the steak, well, if you only run here for 80 cents a mile, then I'll need to buy the steak. The spring equipment and supplies have started moving, so start getting your trucks to areas for spring equipment and stuff, doing a multi-stop mowers today. There you go. That's Chucky. Shh, don't tell anybody that. Gosh. All right, Nashville. So let's look at Nashville. New search. Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know how to spell Nashville. 150 miles. Let's add van to this. Apply. There's be quite a few actually. Maybe. Search. There we go. What would look attractive to me? Well, this one right here. Direct Connect has got a load posted for $19,650 going to North Sioux City, South Dakota. You can make that a round trip. So if you live in Jackson, Tennessee, grab this load, go up there, deliver your load, flip off everybody as you're coming on the way home, and then rest for the rest of the month while the weather does its thing. There you go. That's the load I would do. So there you go. That was easy. There. So do this load for $19,650 for $25 a mile for 786 miles. That's beyond a home run. That's a lottery winner right there. I'm going to guess that this is a typo. It's supposed to be $1,965. That's just my guess. But if this is legit, I'm getting in my truck. Tell my guys I dispatched that you're on your own for a minute while I go do that. Here we go. Louisville to Washington. It's got 2 stops, one in South Dakota. It's a reefer load. It's pork. So if you're Muslim, you can't do it. $5,700. But what are you going to get out of Washington? And again, you're dealing with weather. So Florida, Massachusetts, Florida, not great areas. Davis, Oklahoma, out of Somerset. They're at 241 a mile. It's a van load. That's actually pretty good for van, especially out of Tennessee. Which part of Oklahoma is that? So let's take a look at that. So more than likely, you're going to pull out of either Oklahoma City or Dallas market. So that one would appeal to me only because I know the Oklahoma market. Let's take out weather of a factor because you don't want to be in Oklahoma today. Man, this load disappeared. This load updates in real time. Everything else is going northeast. Here we go. Here's another one. Smyrna, Tennessee to Des Plaines, Illinois. I think I know what this is. Let's see what the weight is. 40. No, maybe I don't. One pick, 3 drops. Yes, I do. This is going to be equipment, as Chucky just pointed out. I know the broker that used to have these all the time. Yeah, extra stops. So this is another one that I would do. 518 miles. They're at 18. That's actually a pretty good rate. So it just depends on how good those stops are. You don't want to be on this all. Oh no, it's not what I think it is. It's a reefer load. Again, multi-stop, guys. That's what you want. So if I was a reefer guy, I'd probably look at that one, depending on what the stops were and how long it took to do that $1,800. Nashville to Richmond, they're at 16. They're at 15. I'm sorry. You probably get them up to 17 beverages, so you got to worry about freeze protect. But I think the forecast in Virginia is going to be above freezing, so probably shouldn't be an issue. And hopefully it's not beer. More than likely, Nashville is going to be Coke or Pepsi. Warren, Ohio, Lawrenceburg, Tennessee to Warren, Ohio, 1,400 for 638 miles. For Tennessee, that's not bad actually. It's appliances, and you got so when you see that it's appliances. Number one, that weight's not correct. It's going to be way lower. But number two, make sure that this isn't a drop trailer load. So you're going to want to find out a customer. Now, if it's a store, that's great. If it's a Lowe's or a Home Depot store, those are easy. I love doing those. But if it's a DC, then you got to make sure it's not a drop trailer. So, don't forget to grovel. Okay. Hunts Point is in the Bronx. Okay. See, I don't know anything. I don't believe averages listed to areas like New York are very accurate and take into account factors you mentioned going places like New York downtown to a lot of cities averages base price. That is true. I was thinking that same thing, but I got to get a hold of Adam for a backhaul. I ran numerous 5-stop John Deere loads out of Horicon, Wisconsin when working for Metalhead. Shh, that's a secret. I used to do that run to Cot Jockey. Is that Cot or Cat? I can't read. Oops, sorry, Snorelord. I can't keep secrets very well. Plus, trying to let others know what I'm seeing. They were decent for the most part. Could deliver all 5 in a day. Same store. Were really hard to get to, but nothing crazy. Yeah, those loads are great. So don't steal them all. Greg Zimmer, good morning. I'm going to touch base with you today. Stephen Chat, how many quote requests did you get from brokers yesterday? 2 emails. Lance, good morning. Anyone else iced in the Dallas area? I hope not. That's a bad spot to be right now. Snowing in Austin. Yeah, 17-year paramedic before trucking. Caught jockey slang for EM. Okay, cool. Excellent. Um, so let's find them Horicon loads, right? Let's say that you're Chucky and you're like, dude, I love John Deere. And you hit search. Now, I've got a 150-mile radius, but here's what you can do. You just hit new search. Let's do 50-mile radius or 10-mile radius. DAT only goes to 50-mile radius, and we need to change the trailer on this. So let's change this to van. Search. There's only one load, Beaver Dam. So the Horicon loads are gone for today. So Kansas City, Missouri. This is the one I would do right here, Beaver Dam. So what you here's what I was saying. So what you do is let's edit this search. We'll do 100-mile radius. We'll do 150. Actually, no, we're going to do 100 of Horicon, Wisconsin. And so what you do is you go to least amount of deadhead, and the closest thing is going to be 83 miles. So obviously, there's no Horicon loads for today and tomorrow. You know why? Because that broker is so good at emailing everybody the list that they don't even hit the load board usually. There's like 3 or 4 brokers that have them. So a lot of stuff coming out of Elgin. So you can just like any other load board, you can do it from the pickup date, you can do it from the location, you can do it from the age. So let's do the age. So the newest post to load 18 seconds ago, Sheboygan to Carlisle, 2350, 293 a mile. Let's take a look at that one. It's van load. I would want to know what the circumstances are if it's multi-stop, because that's a lot more money than what they normally pay. So Carlisle's a good spot usually. A lot of stuff going to Canada. I noticed that. I've been noticing a lot more of that. Damn Canadians. Here we go. We're seeing, if you got Wisconsin Interstate, you can do this one real quick. Des Peres to Bolingbrook. Janesville to Alabama. Now, the problem with Alabama is that it tends to be a dead zone. So I don't recommend going down there if you can help it without a backhaul. But it's nice and warm down there. Palletized retail goods. So this needs to be up a little bit. That needs to be over 2, because the backhaul rates coming out of Alabama are not great. So let's take a look at that. Usually there's a lot of deadhead in the woods too. So you got to check your miles to Google when you look at these deadhead miles. Everything's coming out of Georgia, as you can see. Here's one going to Georgia to Pueblo, Colorado for $263 a mile, $3,500. They're above the average. AC units and parts. So might be multiple stop, but either way, that could be a good load, as long as you got a backhaul out of Colorado, which I do. I usually do. Big Mac, I have a contact out there. Interesting, says Hot Seat. Truck for fun, good morning. Multi-stop lawnmower loads, flatbed, no thank you. It's not flatbed, it's van. But that's good. You don't want to do them, Marty. Yeah, you definitely don't want to do the multi-stop loads. Don't do those. In fact, none of you should be doing multi-stop loads, because they're horrible. Don't do those. You don't want to do that. I'm moving Hustler mowers today. I'm not tied to any brand. Whatever pays, right? A lot of paper rolls in Alabama. A lot, yes. So if you have an older trailer going down to Alabama, you're going to be very, very limited on loads. If you've got an older trailer and they won't take a 10-year-old or 12-year-old trailer, you're now 100 loads in the area looks like 20. So just keep that in mind. So are you seeing charcoal in the area, Snorelord? The equipment seems early, so I was just wondering. Yes. So let's do that. Let's do a new search. Let's do Springfield, Missouri. Springfield, Mo. Do 150. That will cover Branson, West Plains, Rolla. Going anywhere. Picking up in the next 2 days. Search. Van. Okay. This is how well I know my area, guys. You ready? Maida, Missouri. That's dog food. Stratford. It's going to be metal supplies. Let's take a look at that one. Also might be a cross stock out of, nope, it's light. Air conditioners and products. So yeah, there's a lot of that around here. Houston, Spring Hill, Joplin, Kansas City, Greenfield, Spring Hill. Spring Hill's going to be dog food. Fulton, if that's light, it's going to be chips. Yep, that's going to be chips. What I look for is West Plains, Branson, Bell, or Boss, or Rolla. That's where all the charcoal comes out of. And I'm not seeing that, but I was seeing it the other day. Stratford to Houston. This is going to be air conditioners, so probably out of American Products there. Here's Kansas City to Springfield. This is going to be Niagara Water. I bet no, it's 22,000 pounds. So I don't know everything. Gosh, quit thinking I do. So I'm not seeing it right now, but I am starting to see an uptick in it a little bit. I'm just trying to find one down here. Maida, Broken Arrow. Here we go, Bell. Here's a charcoal load. So here's what I would do, right? Let's say I'm really interested in these charcoal loads. So this is Bell to Houston. I would call this broker and say, hey. Now it could also be Clorox kind of stuff too. There's two plants side by side right there. But anyways, I would call the broker and say, hey, do you have any of this charcoal loads? What's on your list? Because they have a list. A lot of dog food. Neosho. Neosho is going to be, if it's heavy, it's going to be feed. If it's light, it's going to be appliances. It's light, so that's appliances. It says grocery products, but well, I guess there are some groceries. There is a cave in Neosho. You don't go in it. It's just everything's stored in it, and the dock is up to it. Let's go with the highest paying load right here. Let's see what that looks like. Highest posted rate, I should say. You guys are funny. 220 miles to go out the county. That's actually better than it's been, obviously. Air conditioners. So CNS obviously has a bunch of loads coming out of one shipper out of Stratford. So I'd call that and say, hey, give me your list. Email me your list every morning. I want to see that list. Even if you're not, you could be in New York and you live in Springfield. Ask for that list every morning so you can see what you can potentially come out of the house with. That's what I would do. I've also carried tractors in a van, terrible loads. You don't want to do them. That's absolutely true. Tons of chicken for reefers, but mostly tied up in contracts, is my guess, in Alabama. Yes. South not good right now. Ice, you're absolutely right, Fran. It's icy everywhere. It seems like unload time with tractor is horrible, right? Morning, all, David. Um, yeah, you definitely don't want to do them, Marty. They're horrible. All right, post it at 9:10 a.m. Check pickup date for load dates. Picks up tomorrow, or no, picks up today, delivers tomorrow. Come on. Look at that. It picks up today and delivers tomorrow, 993 miles. Right away, that tells me that something's not right with this load. And you're either going to call it, they're like, oh, yeah, that's legit. Picks up at noon today and delivers at 2:30 p.m. tomorrow. And then I would say, well, that's 993 miles. That can't be done. Is there something off with the delivery time? That's what it says. Do you got a team? It just irritates me. Be better. Gosh, be better. Anyways, that's not what this conversation could be, but it could be. Probably the other reason why it's such a higher rate than what the average is. I will be watching for charcoal because then I can run some AC parts down there from the house, and have charcoal back up. Always have a plan, right, Chucky? Right? So, anyways, let's do the hot market maps because that is a great tool as well. So let's look at van, because screw them reefer guys. All right. So it's the normal ones. Let's take a look at New Jersey. Let's take a look at Jersey. Let's see what's coming out of there. $3.15 a mile to go from Jersey to Vermont. What are you going to get out of Vermont? Probably nothing. You got Union, New Jersey to Des Moines, $1.54. So let's take a look at this one. Load Smart is hard to understand the people on the phone. You need freeze protect, but it's for over 44,000 pounds. So good luck on that one. So this is a horrible load, in my opinion. I would rather do I would rather do this one than tractors. Yeah, that's it. Look at their credit score, 72, 40 days to pay, and around 40 on Thunder Funding. Yeah, I wouldn't even take a second glance at this load. Massachusetts, here we go. Grove City, Ohio. That should be an easy one. Freehold, New Jersey to Grove City, Ohio. 43 and change, 43,000 pounds, $960 to go to Grove City. See, take that hit to go to Ohio, then out of Ohio, you can take a better. I do this for 1,000, get them up to 1,000 or 1,100. And then, depending on how close I was to this deadhead, I don't know what the deadhead would be of this, depending on where I was. Once I did it, I do it for 11, and then you're out of the Northeast and you're back to good old Ohio. That's what I would do with that one. Everybody looks at a low board differently. That's the thing. You might look at a low board one day and go, holy hell, this sucks. And then you might look at a low board and like, dude, okay, I can work with this. And then sometimes it does that by the hour. So Here's reefer. Notice Arizona lights up yellow instead of red. So let's take a look at reefer loads coming out of AZ. Yuma, Phoenix, Nogales. That's going to be produce. I'm going to guess probably avocados. But that's a guess. And they're at 233 a mile. Average is 252. Probably get them up to, might be able to get them up. What broker is this? Logistics Dynamic. Let's see. Tucson, going to California. Yeah, you don't want that one. Screw that one. Here we go. Phoenix to St. Paul, Minnesota. They're at 218 a mile. They're right at the average. Frozen juice. So your reefer's going to be working a little bit on that one. And here's the thing. A lot of brokers will post right at or just above the average, so you don't negotiate as well. And it works when loads are flying off the shelf faster than you can get it. You're like, yeah, let's just do it. I mean, sometimes there is no negotiating. Depends on your leverage, right? Well, the leverage on this one is it's frozen, and you're going to the frozen tundra of St. Paul, Minnesota. And then you got to look in the market coming out of Minnesota and make sure that you compensate for that as well. It's all on your mindset. And that's what you should be paying attention to when I do these videos. Jeff is a master at this. Jeffrey Like is a master at this low board stuff. So I have also seen picks at noon today, delivers at noon last Thursday. Yes, I hate that, especially when you're going east, right? You're going to lose an hour. 2 if you're coming from the west, right? So it's just, you never know. I can magically become a team if the price is right. Waves hand. Let's go. I enjoyed the book review stream. Good deal, David. We enjoyed doing it. I'm not sure who's I think it was Adams was the original idea of that, on doing book review stuff to kind of break the monotony. Anyways, that's enough low board stuff. I'm going to get off here. So I want to thank everybody. Let's do some advertising here. That's one aspect, guys. At Like Trucking, we are looking for some contractors. We have a couple of trailers available. If you would like, check us out. We have a website. There it is on the screen there. Also, 48065 on the 123 low board. You don't need an MC number to check it out. You get 30 days for free, and it's $35 a month for life. If you use my code, and then if you want to support the channel, there's that. So, and because I'm narcissistic and egotistical, I also have a merch store. So, anyways, it's in the description. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, guys and gals. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. It's wintertime. Winter kind of sucks traditionally, historically, and presently. And you just got to deal with it, right? You know it's all a mindset. It's how you view it. It's how you perceive it. It's how you overtake and overcome. So with that being said, strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Don't be a butthead. Peace.